Hi guys, back again working at our projects here for the day in Hand Leggett shop. Right now, that pretty picture frame that I painted, let's see if I can get it out for you. Looks pretty awesome. Lots of nice metallic accents. And we're putting image transfers on the glass that goes in it. I already put one on. You can see this will go inside that frame. So pretty. I will rub back those edges so you lose a little bit of that halo effect that you get with these transfers. What you have to keep in mind when you're working on glass is that transfers stick really, really fast when you put them down on glass. They adhere quickly. So make sure you know where you're going to put it. I like to take it, I've already looked at it a little bit over there, but I'm also gonna, see the pretty flower? I'm gonna hover it over the frame to get some idea of where it will end up if I put it there and what it's going to cover and is it gonna overlap any of the other design or any of that stuff. So I'm gonna go with roughly here. Little bit of overlap, not too much. Now you see it? I've taken the backing off and I put the transfer on to the glass. I take the stick that comes with the transfer, rubbity rub dub over where I put it, where the design is. This is an antique frame with antique glass. I'm not going to rub too hard. Lift up the corner and see if it's sticking. I can see that it's down. Gently lift it up slowly. See that? See the image staying down? If I saw it starting to come up or anything not sticking, like right there, go back, put that part down, press down, press down. By the way, I cleaned this really well with ammonia before, with alcohol window cleaner. There we go. 2 flowers. The plan with this is that you're going to be able to put photos behind this glass. So you'll have pretty flowers on the front, a cool antique frame, and then the photos. Now I'm going to go with one more piece, a tall thinny. Then I'm going to put off on the side here. Don't let it drop. I peeled the backing off. Here's the transfer. That side's sticky, this side isn't. So a little bit too far off the edge here. I don't want that. So cutting it there. Rub, rub, rub. Peel back gently. And then I want this to kind of hinge over a little bit onto the design, but still fit in the scene. The other option would have been leaving it off altogether, which would have been okay too. A little bit, the frame's going to cover the edge of this piece too. Something I should have thought about more. Okay. See what we got? What do you think, guys? Okay, give you an idea of what it's going to look like in the frame. I still have to put some edging on this so that it'll stay in. Everything that was back here is pretty much dissolved at this point. So yeah, we're going to lose a little bit of our design, but it might look really good because it'll look like it's flush to the edges. Okay. I'm going to obviously put a picture of the complete piece up later for everybody to see. But I may put some planked wood behind it that somebody could put a photo on so that you can, you know, put some sweet little romantic picture with the flowers in front and the pretty vintage frame around it. And the nice curved glass. There's piece one, baby. Okay. I always work myself out of room. Now we're going to put a transfer to on Mr. Bunny Ears. Thing with him, he's curved, which is going to come with challenges. Now on a painted piece like this, something I always say is you need to think about how your transfer is going to look up against that color, because the transfers themselves are pretty sheer. So sometimes what I might do is take the transfer off the backing, take off the backing, and then kind of hover it over a little bit to get a sense if I'm going to be happy with that color on that piece. He's curved. If it doesn't go the way that I want, I'm going to be ready to cut angles on this transfer. So you see, I'm having, maybe he doesn't want to sit quite right around his curves. So we'll see how it goes. It may have to get put on in pieces, or sometimes just slitting into the design. I don't know how that's gonna go, people. That's the problem going live. I put a little divot in it, but that's okay. So let me gently peel back. I'm already expecting challenges with this piece, so now come back in and put the pieces that gave me issues. You can rub it on with your stick. This is something that it's here adhering to pretty easily, so I'm rubbing it on with my finger. Okay. Now, I already, like I said, expected a lot of imperfections with this, and I was cool with it. So I'm actually cool with missing pieces. You'll see when we go on why that's okay on this design. Rub, rub. And maybe I'll make sure they go in the right place. I'm not really, honestly, to be honest with you. I'm just going to put them wherever. Okay, one little piece left on here. Okay. That's the... Okay. One flower on the bunny. Let's get another flower for him. A small little flower for the front. There's the backing, like I said. Peel the backing off. I tell people all the time, perfectly imperfect is not a bad thing. If they crack and they separate in little spots, it's just giving a character an age. He's got, I guess, a thistle flower? Gardeners, you tell me. Okay, and I think we have one more flower for the bunny. Flowers. I may come back in and throw a few more flowers on him. We'll see. Now, on some pieces, you would have to work a lot harder to get one of these transfers to stick on. You'd have to rub a lot more. But this is a dry, porous, chalky finish. So for the most part, it's just sticking as soon as it touches. Try to keep your design from shifting. It can shift on you and then you end up with parts of the design moving on you. I'm really not working that hard at it. I probably will put more flowers on the bunny. Now, this is going to have to be sealed, but we're also going to show you again my favorite metallic rub redesign, Eternal. So you see all these little creases in the bunny? If I very barely rub my finger over them, you see what we're getting? This works for anything in your life. So, you know, you have a dresser and you think you want a little something to it, you can rub this wax on the edges of your dresser. You could put it around the edges of a flower pot. I use a lot of metallic waxes. I use a lot of, now I'm becoming pretty fond of our Wise Out gilding paint that lets me do it with a brush. It's sometimes, to me, a little rub is a little easier for a particular project. Don't put the wax on if you think you're going to add more designs, because it's an oily finish and it'll make it hard for your designs to stick on. Like, I'm not going to be able to put any designs really over the spots with the metallic, or I may not. It may not stick. Okay. Now, I have a soft sanding sponge. I always tell people when you're doing things like that, proceed with caution. Okay? I'm going to go around the edges a little and sand this design back a little. Always be prepared. It might want to rub off more than you want it to. So take a little bit at a time. And like I said, this sponge is very, very, very worn. So it doesn't really have any grit. If I want to get a little more serious, I need to grab my slightly more gritty one. And again, I'm going to start out gentle, because what if it's too much? You can't go back. You can always take more off. You can't undo it once it happens. You can make it so that you're okay with it being off, but you can't undo it. Okay. Let me know your thoughts. I'll put this up on our Facebook page, and you tell me what you think about Bunny. He is going to get sealed. Maybe just with a spray sealer. I have a small problem with glitter and metallics. Like, sometimes I don't stop. I just keep on putting more and more on. Okay. Put down the bunny. I can always add more later. Sometimes it's good to breathe with a project for a little bit before you do any more. What do you think, guys? All right. Now we have the silver metallic egg. Heavy metals in mercury, like I said, as in Freddy. Also has lots of little bumps. So I'm going to throw a couple flowers on the egg too. We have a nice little spring centerpiece of Bunny and E, and this is my first time, I think, putting, I don't know why he's crackling so much. Always be prepared for things to not go as planned. Step back and see if it is in fact adhering the way that I want. Yeah. The round is a little bit tricky, I'm finding, but that's okay. Peel this much off. Cut the backing off so it makes it a little bit easier, maybe, to work around these curves here. Projects like this, these little things like this egg that you could get for like $2 or less at Target, or no longer AC Moore, but Michael's, are a good way to learn to use products, and then you can translate that skill over to a full-size dresser or a dining room table or whatever might be jumping out at you at the moment. Flower. Another flower. Peel the back off. This one's even bigger, so it might even be more of a difficult time with these curves. We'll see. In retrospect, I wish I had cut this design in half and put it on in pieces. That would have made it probably a little bit easier. But sometimes you just gotta roll with it. That's why I'm afraid of live so much, because sometimes, even no matter how much you think you know what you're doing, stuff goes wrong. And you gotta, like, just compensate. Never be so married to your project that you're unwilling to make changes at the last minute if it doesn't go the way you want. It's easy for me to say. I'm always married to an idea, and it's very hard for me to say I think I want to do something different, because this isn't great. But this is working. Okay. See me going back and I see a piece come off with the plastic, so I go back and rub it back on. Some designs, it really doesn't matter if you're missing bits and pieces. You're going to still know exactly what it is, and nobody but you will know that that piece didn't go on. Other designs, it matters a whole lot more. Like, there are certain parts of a design that will be more crucial than others. That's why you should always have things like scissors and other doodads handy. Where you're doing, like sometimes I've had to do, running around trying to find something while you're holding your project in your hand. Well, that I like even more. That flower on there. Ooh-hoo-hoo. One more, baby. I think we have one more little bitty flower. Ah, a couple little tiny ones. Little tiny pieces to fill in. Again, I might come back and throw a few more pieces of flower in here. Maybe I won't. Little flower. Let's take the back off. Put it up there. Looks a little bare. Okay. Go around. Rub all the little bits and pieces down. Make sure. And now, same as before. A little sanding in the gentle kind of way. This has cracks in it. It's okay in my mind if the cracks, whoops, daisy, actually rub through and we see paint. And if you haven't done this before, like I said, always go lighter. You can always come back. You don't even have to do this. If you're happy with the way that it looked before, then don't. Okay. What do you think? See a little warmth that that little bit of gold metallic is given? I like to not recommend a product till I've tried it a bunch. Obviously, I use this all the time. I use my Wise Owl paints all the time. I use my Klingon brushes. Just going to do the front side of this right now. Another heads up, if you put something like the metallic wax on and you think it's too much, I don't, but I'm just going to show you, you can sand it back. Then it'll tend to sit just in the cracks. You can wipe it off a little bit until it's a little more bonded to the project. So cute little centerpiece, egg and bunny. All right.